All right, all right, all right.
That was easy.
Yeah. Welcome back to another video with your boy, the Easy Button. And today we're gonna talk about, I've been wanting to tell people how I got started in coaching. I got started coaching at the middle school level, and though it's a very early level, I was blessed to have gotten that opportunity to start at that level, start at an age where I didn't even start playing basketball yet. That's the crazy part. I didn't start playing basketball until summer of eighth grade. So basically, I was pretty much through with middle school. But the way I started even just coaching in general, I had a friend of mine. His name is Coach Neal, Mike Neal. He coaches at Norman High, 6A state champ. Coach of the year. If I'm not mistaken, he's got two Coach of the Year awards. So he's a pretty big deal. And several players of his have gone on to play collegiately at the highest level. Okay, at the highest level. And my friend Mike, he does private trainings, and he's a really good player development coach. And he had players that he just, I guess he had too many players. So he sent a couple my way. And though I trained before, trained and worked players out before, it was not the same because this go around, I was actually training players for money, training players to get them better, to get them prepared for their seasons and things like that. So beforehand, when I was training players, it wasn't necessarily that I was training players. I was more so doing it. Basically, I was working myself out, and these players wanted to work out with me. So more or less, these players were working out with me as opposed to me training them. They did everything I did, how I did it, and there wasn't really much instructions to be given. I was just a guy that went at it by leading by example, went hard. They went hard. I did a drill. They did the drill, and as a result, players got better. So that's when I knew. That's when I knew, without even really thinking about it. That's when I knew I could train players. Okay, that's when I knew. So fast forward, Mike Neal sends me some players. He's like, "Man, I've seen you play. I like the way you play. I got these players that want to train, but I don't have a slot for them. I think you do a good job if you wanted to take that on." No question. I took it on without even a second thought. And so the type of player that I was, or the type of coach that I am, and the type of person that I am, if I'm putting my time into you, I want to see you actualize it. I want to see you put it to work. So I got these players, and so now I'm working out with you. I'm doing these things, and I want to go watch you play and put it into action. And so that's how I got to where I was able to go to a middle school game for the first time. Remember, I didn't play basketball in middle school. So it was my first time ever going to a middle school game. So I get to this middle school game, and I'm loving the atmosphere. Oh man, you ain't never seen support until you go watch youth basketball. The support is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I get there, and I'm watching, and I'm not gonna bash or anything like that because this is not one of those bash sessions. But I realized, like, man, I had something that I can bring to the table: the passion, the joy for the kids, and the knowledge for the game. So I said to myself, at the time I went to go watch Max Wynn play. He was playing. He was in the seventh grade. Shout out to baby bro Max Wynn. He was playing. He was playing in the seventh grade, and so I went to go watch him with his parents. And so that's when the idea came to my mind, like, I might want to do this. So eventually, Jeff Wynn, shout out Pops Wynn, appreciate you. He was like, "Yeah, I think you can do it." So one person put that battery in my back, and it wasn't just him saying something just to boost me. Like, I really felt like I could do it. So I talked to Mike, and he told me what I should do, and which was to go talk to that coach and see if I can get that coach to lead me down the right path. So in order to do that, I had to go to another middle school game, which I wasn't opposed to because it was something that was new to me. It was foreign. It was fun. The atmosphere was great. I had never experienced anything like it. And mind you, I'm in Norman, Oklahoma, so it's a small town, so lots of support to be given. You know what I mean? And so I went to another game, another great game. Then after that game, I went onto the court. I talked to that coach, and I asked that coach, like, if I wanted to coach, what can I do to become a part of the program? And so that coach was like, hey, I'll get you in contact with the athletic director. The athletic director then got me to where the athletic director gave me the website to go to apply for the job. They happened to have an opening or whatever the case was. They happened to have an opening, so they sent me. You know what? I think they were going to have an opening for the next year. That's what it was. They were going to have an opening for the next year, and so they told me to go apply. Once they told me to go apply, I know this seems like common sense. I know this seems like, duh, why you ain't do this before you and went to go talk to the people? But she told me to go apply, and that's when I found where all the coaching jobs for the district was. And I was like, it was like opening Pandora's box, And so then I went and I applied for this job, that coaching job, middle school, high school. I applied, I shot my shot. No pun intended, right? I shot my shot. And luckily, the same school that I applied, that I first went to, that I first wanted to apply to, was the same school that hired me on. Okay? So from there, I ended up getting hired on as an 8th grade girls assistant basketball coach. Never knew that I was going to coach girls, but I coached those girls. It was fun. And, it's true what they say about coaching girls. They listen intently and they grab a hold to every word you say. And it's true what they say about boys. They think they know it all. You know what I mean? They think they know it all, and they're going to go out there and try to do it themselves. But those girls, I could not have had a better first year than coaching girls. I couldn't have done it. And so that was about 5 years ago. We're in September. We're about to be in September 2020. That was literally about 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Okay, I coached middle school for 3 years, and then I coached high school now. I'm a high school coach now, and an aspiring professional coach, player developer. Really, I want to be more on the player development side, right? But right now I'm in my 3rd year as a high school coach, or 2nd year. I'm going into my 3rd year as a high school coach, and to think I started as an 8th grade girls basketball coach, and all I had to do was go talk to that coach. That coach got me in contact with the AD. The AD then sent me to the website where I was able to have access to all the coaching jobs. And then I applied and I got hired. Luckily I had a decent resume and they believed in what I was saying and what I had to offer. And here we are. So for you aspiring coaches out there and you don't know where to begin, start by going to one of those games. If you want to coach at that level, go watch one of their games. If you want to coach at that level, but maybe you don't have that much experience, go watch several of their games. They asked me questions that luckily I had answers to. My coaching style, my philosophy, how I would deal with parents. One of the questions they asked me and the way I answered it was one of the reasons why I got hired on, I believe anyways, was how I would deal with parents. Okay, so they asked me, in a scenario, if I'm coaching and a parent is unhappy with their child's playing time or that type of situation, how would I deal with it? And I told them honestly, I would probably need to address it the next day, because I realized trying to address it directly after the fact, emotions may be running high, things may be said on both sides that may not be able to be walked back, that we can't take back. And so once I told them that, okay, and that wasn't even something that I got coached on. It was just something that I knew true to my heart, because I know how people think and I know how people work generally, because I do have a master's in counseling, so that's kind of how my brain works, and just thinking about those types of things. So have your coaching philosophy. Know your style. Okay, know how you'll deal with parents. Know how you intend to develop players. Those things will be important once you get into that interview process. But before then, you first have to get on at somewhere. Whatever level it is you want to get on at, go watch their games. Go study their team. Go study the program. See what type of coaches they've had in the past. Shoot, do your research. See what type of coaches have not stuck around, things like that. See if there's been any scandals before. And when I say scandals, I don't mean anything beyond, this coach didn't stick around because, he just was not a good fit kind of thing. Okay, so let's stay here with it, right? Stay here with it. So anyways, that's my spiel. That's how I got started in coaching, and I'm super thrilled, and I hope that I'm able to keep it going. I intend to keep it going, and my end goal is to be a player development coach at the highest level. Thank you for hanging out with me as I drop gems that I picked up in these gyms. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Sound good, don't it? Check. Yeah. Look. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Look. Life tried to drown me. This hoop is like my life jacket. This ice in my veins is something Titanic. Lockdown defense kept me out the center for detention. Divine intervention passes over to my center. Alleyways are the alley-oops. Some got no looks and passed away when somebody shoot. Back in court duo, but nobody hoops. The wrists follow through in the cuffs. Got a loop, pick a book up, picked up and get booked. It's just you and I, out running suicides. Me, I was out running suicide. Boy, I'm going in, dropping gems that I picked up in these gyms. I can't slack, I've been down and back. I'm just trying to share a few tales from this thing called life. Count my assists, man, I swear that basketball really saved my life. Yeah, yeah. I swear it saved my life. Let's go.